Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm just looking up here because my mom's getting her hair cut right now. She might be getting ready to get done. But I thought I'd come on here and, well, just give my thoughts on this whole khabib McGregor situation. And I will agree with Jeff Siegel on one thing. The Schleg Daddy, or SDTV for the closed captioning if people use that. SDTV. But anybody that thinks this is legitimately a shoot, and that all the chaos of that aftermath on Saturday night in Las Vegas is real, you are seriously mistaken. Because, I'll give UFC one thing. A lot of people say that there's a new version of WWE, that they're what WWE was and should be. And in a sense, they are. But there's a version of WWE that's more legit when it comes to their matches. In other words, the fights, the bouts, whatever you want to call them, are real. But you cannot tell me, and I know I might offend some people, and I do apologize, but you cannot tell me, for the life of me, that those matches aren't predetermined. That any aftermath isn't predetermined or pre-planned. Because it is. And the only reason media outlets like Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, ESPN, FS1, you name it, the only reason they treat UFC like a legitimate sport is because, yes, the fights are real, like I said, but the only reason they treat them the way they do, as if they're an actual legitimate sporting event or promotion, like the WBO, the World Boxing Organization, WBO, the World Boxing Organization, or the IBF, the International Boxing Federation, or the WBA, the World Boxing Association. The reason they treat them like that is because, like I said, yes, the fights are real. The reason they treat and report and have reactions to the results, to the aftermath, if there's any kind of aftermath, is because Dana White, unlike, let's say, Vince McMahon or Anthem Sports or Sinclair Broadcasting, is willing to shill out millions, if not billions of dollars to get sorry about that. But like I said, basically, he's willing to shill out millions, if not billions of dollars to all these networks and cable channels, sporting channels, what have you, to make it believable, to make them act like the whole situation is real, to have them react in a way that when you're watching, let's say, Sports Center or Good Morning America or the Today Show or CBS This Morning or Fox and Friends or Fox Sunday Mornings or whatever, Fox Mornings, whatever, the reason they act like the whole thing's legitimate and newsworthy is because Dana White pays out millions to them. He pays out and shields out millions. And you know what? These media outlets, they don't mind. Hey, if they can get a piece of the pie, courtesy of Dana White, they'll do it. They'll do whatever it takes. But the truth is, they know that even though they're getting paid handsomely, they can't really take what's going on very seriously. I mean, didn't you hear how it sounded, how some of those reporters sounded during that press conference talking to Dana White about the whole situation that went down? And even some people that were able to talk to him one-on-one, they almost all sounded like they wanted to bust out laughing and giggle because they knew what they were reporting on was a farce. It was not real. Because you can't tell me that Dana White didn't meet with Khabib and McGregor and say, okay, this is how long the match is going to go. This is what we have alternatively planned if it accidentally goes short, and here's what's going to happen afterwards no matter what. Like, you can't tell me that even if alternatively they had to go with an alternative plan, if McGregor got accidentally knocked out, let's say in the first round, that they still wouldn't have had Khabib go over and kind of fight or try to fight McGregor's boys. But instead of having Khabib's guys come in and attack McGregor, they would have had Khabib's guys go and help him. You can't tell me they didn't probably have something like that planned, and planned if what happened on Saturday night didn't come to be, and it did. You can't tell me Dana White didn't sit down with these guys and plan this out, because he did. You can't tell me that Dana White or people that represent him and represent McGregor and Khabib didn't call up all these cable sporting outlets, sporting channel outlets, networks and all that, told them what's going to happen and say, we need you to report it. Here's an extra 1 mil or 10 mil in your bank account. You can't tell me that's not what happened, because it did. I mean, seriously. This whole thing is just to get your attention for either UFC 230 or UFC 231 when the rematch is going to occur. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the rematch happens on the same freaking card that Brock Lesnar competes on for the UFC Heavyweight Championship, so they can make it feel like a bigger deal. Sorry about that. Because the truth is, you cannot tell me this wasn't all planned out and predetermined. The brawl, the Nevada State Commission's holding out, Nevada Athletic Commission's holding Khabib's end of the purse. They're holding McGregor's end of the purse. And then you notice how quickly they changed it to, the Nevada people, Nevada Athletic people decided to give McGregor his end of the purse. You can't tell me that. And the fact that, when a reporter questioned Dana White as to why he showed the footage of the bus attack, Dana White said, it's all part of the story. It's to help enhance the story. Dana White just basically answered a question that basically exposed this whole thing for what it is. It's nothing but a story that's been predetermined, pre-planned, and if anything had to be changed on the fly just in case something else happened, so be it. That's what would have happened, but you cannot tell me for the life of me that this whole thing is legit, because it's not. I can guarantee you Khabib's got his money. Both men got the money when it was all said and done. The only reason they said they were holding it is for story reasons, to make it feel more dramatic, get you more intrigued and interested in what was going to happen next. And yes, what Jeff said on SD TV, Schleg Daddy TV, is right. It's doing exactly what UFC needs to have done. It's creating a great reaction for them, a positive reaction, and it's doing great business for them, and it's not a bad thing in the long run. But again, you cannot tell me that Khabib, McGregor, and Dana White and anybody else involved wasn't a part of this from the beginning, because they were. This was all predetermined, all pre-planned, and they had all the bases covered. They called up all the sporting cable channels like ESPN, FS1. They called up Fox. They called up ABC, NBC, CBS, TMZ, you name it, to get them to all cover this as it's a legit thing happening. Even all of the regional and state affiliates. You cannot tell me they didn't have this all pre-planned and ready to go when it all went down, because they did. They did. So, in the long run, folks, no matter how you look at it, this whole McGregor Khabib thing, it's nothing more than a predetermined, pre-planned, bases covered all the way around, story arc by the UFC to gain your interest and attention in a rematch between these two, possibly on the damn same card as Brock Lesnar competing for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Again, You can't tell me that's not what this is, because it is. So that's all I'm going to say on it, guys. You let me know what you think down below. Jeff Shiegel, Shrek Daddy, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Dalyxman, Chase Oliver, anybody. If you got the time, give me a response. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with anything I had to say here, and I'll talk to you all later.